Hello everyone, welcome to Beyond the Pulpit. We know that the reality is that there's only so much time we have during our church services, but there's always more to talk about. That's why we're taking the conversation beyond the pulpit. This is where we dive deeper into conversations we wish we had more time for. This is Paolo Punzalan, and together with our pastors from Victory BGC, we're excited to talk about faith, life, church, and the questions that matter to you. Join us every first and third Wednesday of the month for a new episode. We're glad you're here, and we hope you enjoy this time we have together. Hello everyone, welcome to Beyond the Pulpit podcast. We are so glad you could join us for today. And today we have a very, very interesting topic. It's on dating and relationships. Yeah. It's actually a two-part series, guys. The first one, we're going to talk to men initially or the whole time. We're going to talk to the men. Okay, for the second one, we're going to talk to the women. Okay, and we will have women in the next episode. So today, we have Pastor Jojit. We've had Pastor Jojit before from our 6 p.m. service. Pastor Mark from our Saturday service. And then Arby, who you would see normally at the 11 a.m. service. And is the most eligible, at least in this topic, because recently just got, hitched. Somebody who just recently got married about a year and 4 months ago. 3 to 4 months ago. So alam niya. So
yesterday was our 1 year and third month together.
Nice. Oh, wow. Wonderful. All right, well, guys, just highlights from the past week or so, or even couple weeks since we've had the podcast. The last one I wasn't here. Reason being I was sick. After our morning meeting, parang masusuka na ako for some reason.
Oh man.
I think I had similar things.
Yeah, right about the same time, Pastor Pao.
Right about the same time, diba? So, but I came from Mongolia. I don't think that was the Mongolia trip that caused me to, get sick. But it was a good trip for me. Pastor Brandel was with us, and we had a good. Pastor Uyuna, we're starting our church there in Mongolia, and just in case you guys have a heart for Mongolia, let us know.
Yeah.
But we are planting our church there, so we do have a thriving, a good start in terms of our campus ministry, and then we have a good core group of couples there. So that was a good short 5-day trip for us. How about you guys? Any updates? Good?
Pastor Pao, I know yesterday we just came from Victory Katipunan. So hello, Victory Katipunan.
Nice.
So it's nice that we get to spend time with them. We get to know them. I enjoyed when our team, our admin team, also got to spend time with the admin team of Katipunan, and we had our preaching meeting also together with Victory Katipunan pastors and campus missionaries. Sobrang saya lang kasi it's not just like working together, pero sharing lives din kasi we were talking a lot about personal stuff. So yun lang, it's good to get to interact also with people na hindi lang dito sa BGC.
That's nice. How about you guys? Any updates, Pastor Mark?
Well, we just finished our celebration of Easter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So it's very meaningful. We stayed in a very nice place, Casa Tusoy. So sa Cuarto Princesa kami.
Yeah.
So
Well, at least I listen to your podcast. Napakinggan ko yun eh. Easter ba? Resurrection ba? So, if you haven't listened to that podcast.
So it's a very, time to reflect also. As we major kasi sa atin in Christmas celebration. But again, if Christ didn't resurrect, all of what we're doing, our faith, the preaching of the word is all in vain. So at least it's a good time to reflect, and opportunity also to, when we had lunch with the family, explaining to them the importance of the resurrection of Christ.
That's good.
It's a good family moment and teaching moment.
Yeah, galing. Nice. Arby, how about you?
Like I mentioned earlier, yesterday was our 1 year and third month of getting married.
Nice.
It's interesting because my wife and I both decided to remember these dates. It doesn't always have to be grand celebrations like we go out or have nice fancy stuff. But just the fact that we have to remember that this is the day where we spend just the day wherein we remember that this is how long God has been faithful to us in the context of our marriage. It's always a great time. Looking back on where God has taken us this far of the journey, time to thank God for His goodness, and it's a great time to be married.
Well, sige, let's talk about that. Let's talk about dating and relationships. Diba? We do have, before that pala, no? Kasi meron tayong mga terms na narinig
Exactly.
lately. Well, not lately, but it's been some time now. A few, like you, I'm sure you are familiar with these.
Yeah.
Like ghosting, submarining, and then testing. Ano ba ibig sabihin? What's the definition of those?
So ghosting, it's when someone suddenly stops communicating with someone. Like, for example, you're talking on a regular or a constant pattern, and then all of a sudden, that pattern comes to a immediate halt, and all of a sudden, wala na, walang explanation, wala man lang BRB, or I'll message you after X number of months. It's just mumu. Parang multo na bigla lang talagang vanish. Bigla lang talagang nag-vanish. So
Gang like a bubble.
Diba? So, submarining, actually, it's something na, I don't know if you've been on TikTok recently, it's something na bumabalik siya ulit, that conversation.
Of ghosting.
When we talk about submarining, submarining naman is similar to ghosting, but the difference now is bumalik. If ghosting, nawala, tapos, you're left confused what happened. Submarining is when the person resurfaces like a submarine and acts as if nothing happened.
Wow.
It's a submarine when the person whom you haven't messaged or talked to after a while suddenly pops up on your notification and says, "Yo, what's up?"
Yo, what's up?
Ganun, "Hey, how are you?" Or like parang wala lang nangyari. Bigla lang bumalik.
Lulubog lilitaw.
No.
Yeah, actually, these are new terms for me.
Oo nga eh.
Ngayon ko lang narinig to kasi alam ko palitaw eh. Lulubog na.
Diba?
Iba yun. And then the other one was testing the waters.
Yeah,
diba?
testing the waters
I guess that
naman.
one pretty familiar with.
Yeah.
Okay. What does that mean? At least for the sake of those who are listening.
Yeah, it is when someone cautiously explores the possibility of what could happen in this interaction with the opposite gender. It is when you try to get to know the person better with that lens of pwede ba to siya or potential or not. Then you try to create avenues for you to get to know that person better, whether that's in a group context, pero siya lang yung kausap mo the whole time, or I don't know, like getting to ask more questions that you normally don't get to hear from other people, with the sole intention of really getting to know that person more in a next level context and trying to see which is which. And
But is that necessarily bad? What? You're trying to get to know somebody?
It's a good question.
Oh.
Hindi, ano ba?
well, it's difficult to marry a stranger. It's weird to marry a stranger. There
Exactly.
is a
Oh.
process. There is a part to it wherein it is absolutely necessary to get to know the person
Okay.
you're going to spend the rest of your life
So is
with.
that testing the waters?
Or is that also,
Or more
could
of getting
testing
to know?
the waters be parang mas, like you're entering into medyo intimate levels of a relationship but there's no commitment and you'll only commit once you see compatibility? Is that a possibility also?
I guess siguro there's really inherently nothing wrong with trying to get to know the person more. But I guess how you try to get that information starts to become
Yeah.
muddy. Kasi, like for example, if you have to get to know the person if you want to spend the rest of your life with, but if it's done in a manner where things starts to become confusing or emotions are unnecessarily being stirred up without clarifying boundary lines, and I guess that's the difference of getting to know the person in a good way or testing the waters in a good way or testing the waters in a not so nice way.
Yeah, I guess, well, being in the church also, I think I'm more familiar with the term building relationships, where you, there's actually a mutual understanding.
Okay.
But when you say at least for me, testing the waters, it's something for me in a negative side where you are not really fully invested.
Or not willing to commit siguro.
Okay, so you're just
Pero, yeah.
testing it first. So, hindi siya yung I want to get to know this person, so we'll go out. But there's a clear purpose where you want this relationship to go. Hindi siya yung we'll see kung gusto niya ba, kung parang feeling ko ayaw niya, di wag na lang. So you're just testing the waters first.
Ikaw ba, Pastor Jojit? Did you test the water? Did you build
my love
relationship?
story.
Did you just go for it?
Yeah.
Patay, parang katipunero. Patay kung patay.
Actually, my love story is quite weird. I got into a relationship, of course, with Rania, very young, medyo young. But I think for some reason, medyo naging mature yung approach ko because just like what you said, parang katipunero na parang I already laid down immediately. The reason why I keep calling you, I
So
spend
clear sa kanya.
very clear talaga. Kasi sabi ko, at even honestly, I can say it naman, hello, I was 17 at that time. So I was 17, but I was telling her, the reason why I keep on parang interacting with you, spending time with you, is because I like you. And the reason also na why I'm here is because I'm looking forward to having a relationship with you in the long run. I don't want to put pressure on you, but at least I'm not just here na nagpaparamdam for whatever, na parang wala lang, papakyut lang, no, I'm here because of a reason. Okay. So I remember having that phone call. It was very, very clear with Rania. So, yun, she didn't push me away naman, and we've been married for 17 years. So.
Wow. Ikaw ba, diretso or nagpakik ka muna ganun?
Yeah.
Kasi kami naman ni Faith and I, we were really friends.
So you were friends na?
We're really friends. Actually, she was more friends with my parents than I was. Kasi my parents and Faith, they were serving in the same ministry for quite some time. So they would have like dinner parties at our house. Tapos ako, nasa kwarto lang. Tapos interact na yung parents ko. They were talking about ministry, they're talking about life, ganyan. Tapos after they have dinner, kakatokin nila ako to eat some of the leftovers, tapos I'll go back. So talagang mas naging friends niya yung parents ko kaysa sa akin. It is actually only during the pandemic where we became closer as friends kasi her office was near our church, and since her office has no parking, makikipark siya sa church. Tapos dahil skeletal workforce ako nung pandemic, it started with, alam mo, magkakasulubong kayo sa parking lot. Tapos during that time, syempre, scarce ang transportation because it was
Nagkakasalubong o sinasadyang salubong.
At in the beginning, it was mere coincidence. Tapos later on, inaabangan mo na siya. Alam mo yung, ano mo na talaga.
And then you went for it, or did you test the water?
There was a lot of prayer involved because during the time when I finally realized na, okay, I want to go for this, I want to let her know that I like her and I want to pursue her. That was also during the time when I'm about to transfer from Davao to here. And that was a major consideration for me because I had to ask myself, how am I going to be able to give my best in pursuing her while I'm here in Manila going through the motions of adjustments of living here? So I thought to myself na I don't think I'll be able to give my best in pursuing her while I am going through the transitions of staying here. So I decided na, sige, I'll focus first on my transition here, to settle here, find my rhythm here. Then once things are settled, then I'll let her know that this is something I've been praying for a long time. Okay. That's been something that's in my heart, and I want to let you know that I want to pursue this and go through the sacrifice it takes, even if it's long distance.
Did you ask her from afar, or did you ask her and did you go there?
The thing is, parang she had a layover flight here. She was going. It was a work trip wherein she had to travel to Cagayan de Oro, but there's no direct flight from Davao to Cagayan de Oro. So she had to go from Davao to Manila, have like a 5-hour layover, then Manila to Cagayan de Oro, and the airport was near our house back then. It's like walking distance. So I decided na, sige, during the 5-hour layover, I'm gonna ask you out. And since I'm gonna see you again after 2 weeks on my sister's wedding in Davao, then you can let me know the answer after 2 weeks. So I think this was the last week of September. She was in Manila. I went to the airport, took her out somewhere nearby kasi naisip ko kung dadalhin ko siya sa malayo, baka she might miss her flight. So somewhere in front of the airport na lang or nearby. Tell her that this has been my process, my journey of trying to ask God what He thinks of this decision and let you know that I've been praying about this and lay down my intention.
Did you have ideas that you liked each other now or not yet or kind of?
Because we have been friends, like legitimate friend, like authentic friends lang talaga. As a group, we have like conversations with single guys, like and single people, like their preferences. And she has been very vocal about she won't even consider someone younger than her. Like it's like an automatic no for her. So, and since she was good friends with my parents, for me, parang what I can surmise back then was that it was just really me who likes her.
Yeah.
Kasi alam ko talaga na she won't even bat an eye to someone younger than her. Then that's why it came as a complete shock to her. Like, I remember when I told her I want to lay down my intention, it caught her by surprise. Na hinampas niya sa akin yung flowers na binigay ko sa kanya. Ano sinasabi mo? It really totally caught her off guard. So, that was just a confirmation for me na all throughout this time, ako lang yung may gusto sa kanya and it's not something that entered or parang
mukhang
she
nasa chat
entertained.
group si Faith, kinikilig na yata.
After letting her know, she took her time praying and seeking God. Nice. And after 3 weeks, I went to Davao for my sister's wedding. Met her afterwards. Then that's when she decided, okay, sige. Because you approached my mother and asked for permission, honored my mom. Then okay, sige, I'm gonna let you pursue me.
Nice. LDR.
Thank you, Lord, for the
I remember
grace.
magkasama kami sa service nun eh. So, I witnessed nga na Arby really taking time to connect. I think yun yung crucial din. Maybe for those wondering how they made it work, no? I know you, when we had dinner with you guys, you made sure na you connected and you're always communicating.
Part of my commitment with her when I told her that I like her and I want to lay down, parang I already had like, this is my commitment before you, as in I know we're going to be on long distance and I know your love language is quality time. So by the grace of God, I don't know how I'm going to pull it off, but just a step of faith. My commitment for you is I'll be in Davao every other month.
Yeah.
So parang just to let her know na I have a plan and I have a vision and I'm making it clear na things, making her expect things na, okay, sige, at least you're showing your sincerity nga na you're really intentional about pursuing kasi kahit long distance, you're willing to sacrifice, take on the cost of it. Yeah. Mahal ng sorry eh.
So wait, both of you, at least clear, diba?
Sugod mga kapatid.
Sugod mga kapatid. Pero meron kasi iba, they feel, I want to, check lang. I don't want to get rejected. I don't, for fear of rejection. Alam mo yung, I guess testing the waters nga, that would be the term, no? What are your thoughts there? What would you, ikaw like Pastor George, maraming singles sa 6 p.m. service, diba? So, what would you tell them?
Well, for me, when I laid down my intention kay Rania, no plan B talaga. If she rejects me, she rejects me. I didn't want to play with her emotions. I did not want to just start something na I couldn't commit to. Basta ako, I need to be convinced, first and foremost, sa sarili ko na I want to commit to this. Now, if she rejects, I don't know.
Yeah.
But at least ako, from my end, I am 100% committed before I even make the first moves. And I think that's something I would share also to the men at the 6 p.m. service. Kasi sabi ko, it has to be clear with you first. gustong-gusto mo na ba talaga? Do you really, are you, all the, physically attracted? Do you really want to know the person really, yun, in a deeper level? Or at least at some point, you want to be in a relationship with the person. Dapat clear mo na sa'yo yun. Kasi if you don't see it yet, then...
not being in a relationship.
Parang, if you don't see na parang, I want to be in a relationship with her, then huwag ka muna magpakyut-pakyut. Kasi pwede naman friends lang kayo in a very, like, platonic, friendship, ano lang talaga.
Tumutungo si Nikki, oh.
Ayan.
Adi, agree ka ba?
Diba? Parang before you say something, before you make the moves,
Okay.
it has to be clear with you first.
Okay.
Para pag tinanong ka, bakit ka ba nagpapakyut ka? Then you can answer that, because crush kita. Because I want to be in a relationship with you. So, I mean, of course, medyo exaggerate. But the point is, at least it has to be clear with us first. I mean, it's talking to the men. Ibang usapan with the women naman eh. So, pang next episode yun. But for the men, at least, it has to be clear with us. Para we don't play with the emotions of the women. We don't want to send the wrong signals and we end up parang ghosting. Kasi nung papakit tayo, biglang they start liking us, being attracted, tayo pala, hindi pala tayo sure na oh no, parang matatrap na ako dito, then you just cut off. So,
maybe not just clear for you, but clear also for the woman that you want to pursue. Kasi it will be unfair to her. Clear sa'yo, sa kanya hindi clear.
yun.
So you need to clarify first.
Yeah, agree.
What's your intention?
Agree.
Para hindi naman, kasi there's a tendency you might defraud the person. Diba? Pinaasa mo tapos wala ka palang plano.
Yun.
So sabi nung isa, don't let a woman fall unless you're ready to catch them.
Yoy.
Ganun ba yan?
Ang ganda. But, yun nga, kasi, hindi naman to yung parang business transaction eh. We're talking about people, emotions, who's looking really for potential relationship. So, if yun yan na-defraud, hirap eh. Like, we end up hurting.
What
Wala
does
na
that
rin yung
mean?
friendship.
I know we throw that word around, defraud, but what does
Actually,
it
it's good that we
mean?
get to really define
Ano ba
what
ibig
it is.
sabihin?
Parang, like what Pastor Mark said, na pinaasa. Or like you give false expectations. Or
False
iba, niloko.
expectations.
Or, diba, kala ko ba, okay tayo, biglang, but why are you dating somebody else? Or why are you looking for, diba? Are you really sincere? Or, parang, are you just looking for, parang scouting? Or,
So you give flowers, you give chocolate, tapos tawag ka na tawag.
yan.
Bigla na lang nawala ka na.
So how about if I'm just a good person, a nice person,
Yeah.
hatid kita, or gusto ko lang manlibre, ano ba yan?
I guess for
Okay
me,
ba yun?
okay yun if you do it to everyone.
To everyone.
Kasi pag nag-single out ka na,
Yan.
Okay.
you
Parang special treatment na.
special treatment. Now you are, for me, you're like playing with the emotion of that person.
Paano sabihin, assuming naman masyado? Hindi naman.
Well, mag-a-assume kasi kung 5 sila, magkakabarkada kayo, tapos, guys, kamusta? Uy, may coffee pala ako para sa'yo.
Yeah.
Di ba? You're sending wrong signal.
Yan.
Pero I'm also thinking in the same line from Pastor Pao. Kasi meron ding mga people na we can be in a group setting as friends, but the depth of my friendships with the people in the same group may not be the same.
Of course.
So, big sabihin, like for example, I can be very close friends with Pastor Paolo. And to the rest, okay, acquaintance, we love hanging out together. At dahil close friends kami and meron kaming history na, alam mo yun, this time it's my coffee, the next time
Hindi
it's
naman
your
kape.
coffee. Ay, hindi naman. Next time it's my treat, next time it's your treat. So, pwede naman din na my treatment to is in a
It's a
friendship
little different.
na proportional to my friendship. That not necessarily meaning na same kasi hindi naman tayo same.
Does that bring confusion to the person?
It could
It
bring.
can.
It can. It definitely can. And the tension begins to arise because at the end of the day, you can't explain to everyone. You cannot. It's difficult to walk on eggshells with people. Okay, binibigyan ko to ng kape kasi 15 years na kaming platonic friends, ha? Parang walang mako-confuse, ha? Wala talaga. So it's really hard to explain to everyone. But I guess siguro we have to clarify and define defraud well. Kasi nga, there's also an element of baka naman you're reading too much into it na wala namang pala talaga. He's just really a good, friendly person.
Pero before you explain what defraud is, no? Kasi,
No, I mean, let's try to kasi ako, I don't have that good.
Kasi for example, you said na exclusively, I'm nice to this person, ha? Siya lang, out of everyone, ha? But if, for example, you're still single and you have a girlfriend na, would you still continue doing that gesture? If you can say na, yes, I can still continue giving
you mean sa girlfriend na?
Kunwari, may ibang girlfriend
person,
siya, tapos bigay pa rin siya ng bigay like ng coffee or chocolates to somebody else.
Would that be okay?
Would that be okay?
Ay,
If you're
siguro
saying
that's
na parang,
I guess siguro that's entirely different. Kasi you're now talking to someone who's in a relationship.
but you're
with
just
someone.
you just have a platonic relationship. So that's where I'm coming from. Parang, I guess I'm with Pastor Mark here na parang, mahirap pag single out mo eh. Like, I mean, time, talent, treasure. Diba? I mean, we talk about these, may cost. If I'm gonna be generous, I'm gonna be generous for all. But if I'm starting to make it exclusive, obviously, I did that to Rania. And because I was very clear na I'm not gonna do that, I'm not even generous to my siblings. Pero, sorry siblings. Pero, my, to Rania, syempre, I would serve her, like, bring her, drive for her, mga ganon. So, because, for me, there was something there also. So, baka it's just me, baka masama lang ugali ko.
Yun nga, there's an element of uncertainty. And at the end of the day, it's definition and clarity that dispels these things. I know we also throw around the phrase, don't assume unless otherwise stated. So if we combine that with our understanding of defrauding, will you agree, or what do you think about the idea that when we define defrauding, it is when something is stated but not fulfilled?
For you, that's
Okay, sige, I am clarifying to you that I want to take things to the next level and that I'm gonna be doing this for you. Pero hindi mo finulfill yon. All of a sudden, you're also doing this to someone else. You're also doing this to someone else. Ganyan. So, hindi nag-match yung what you stated of your intention, then your action, then what you did. Baka yun yung defraud. Kasi you start to make the person expect that this person is going to like this, but hindi pala.
Now, I guess, the key kasi is clarifying intentions. Now, let's say, I did not mention naman that I will pursue this one. I'm just a friendly person. But what you're saying is different from your actions. Now, you are playing with the emotions. Now, of course, women, they will not assume. But the signal that you are sending is different. It will bring confusion. Hindi mo sinasabi na, I wanna pursue this relationship. Hindi siya magpo-pursue, pero parang tawag niya sa akin eh. Valentine's Day, nag-invite, dinner daw kami.
Yun na.
Sa burger machine. Diba? So,
burger machine.
So ngayon, you're not saying that, friends lang tayo but the action is doesn't match what you're saying. So it will bring confusion. So ngayon, yung babae, ano ba talaga? Ano ba talagang plano mo? So,
sige.
And which they will not ask. Kasi they will not ask naman eh. Kasi syempre, they don't want to sound din naman na assuming. So parang naiiwan na lang siya na, parang nagpapakit siya, ayoko naman maging assuming, pero nagpapakit pa rin siya eh. So parang never ending, biglang nag-stop. Ghosting. So I think that's where the problem comes up eh.
Doon sa mga listening or maybe on YouTube, no? Mag-comment na lang kayo. Sabihin niyo sa amin kung ano yung insights niyo. But I do have a question though.
Ayan.
Pwede ba maging best of friends ang lalaki at babae? Na walang mangyayari. Can a man and a woman be best of friends, quote-unquote platonic, for years without falling for each other or being... Diba? Sometimes you see that in movies, diba? And then, you're married na and then you're still best friends with another girl. Diba? Can that... what are your thoughts there?
If your answer is yes, text yes to 2366.
yeah, that's a good question. I don't think I can help in that one because I will have a best friend na lalaki. So, well, that's me, no? So, parang hindi ako sanay magkaroon ng best friend na babae. Tapos, hanggang friends.
Friends lang.
Di ba yung parang baka, so I don't know eh.
Bagay, we can't naman be prescriptive here. No? We
Yeah.
want to
So-
make sure for you guys listening, we want to just inspire thoughts here,
Yeah.
not necessarily be
Dictate,
restrictive. But at the same time, later on we'll talk about scriptural basis. Ano ba yung, ano ba sabi sa Bible? Diba?
Baka ito question, Pastor Pao. Okay, ikaw
Hindi,
muna.
teka muna, yung question.
Hindi, yun.
Pwede ba mag-best friends?
Ikaw ba meron ka bang best friend?
Personally, I cannot.
You cannot. Okay.
I cannot.
So this is again personal conviction
Yeah,
to guys.
personal.
Listening. Okay.
Even if I do that, first and foremost, magkakagulo ka, mag-aaway kami ng asawa ko. Kasi madidivide yung attention ko, syempre. Or, di ba, it's an investment eh. It's a relationship that I'll invest in also eh. And, well, thanks be to God na syempre, my wife is also my best friend. Like, we talk about everything. And I don't think I can give anything similar to somebody else. Kahit like, 50% of that. So, medyo mahirap talaga for me. I cannot.
Simula ngayon, di na tayo best friend. Meron ako ibang best friend.
No.
Yung asawa mo na.
Hanap ka ng away.
I have don't take me wrong. I have good friends na women, but they're nowhere near like
Being the
yung-
best friend that
yeah,
you
oo.
would have. Okay. How about you, Arby? Any thoughts?
Well, same. If you're married, your wife should be your best friend.
Kung hindi pa.
Kung hindi ka married,
Yeah.
can you have a best friend?
Now, that's an interesting thought. If you're both single, because now, like you mentioned, na your wife is your best friend. Diba? And will you agree in saying that friendships is a good foundation of marriage? Kasi at the end of the day, when, alam mo yan, once you start living together, you're friends. Hirap naman na hindi kayo friends ng asawa mo. Diba? If we're saying that friendships is a good foundation for marriage, then parang don't you think it could be a good idea for us to have healthy friendships as a single person
With opposite
with
gender.
opposite gender?
Okay.
I think it's necessary na
Yeah.
healthy
Yes.
within,
I
alam mo
agree.
yun, merong safeguards to ensure the healthiness of friendships. Kasi if you married your best friend, I mean, that's great, di ba?
Yeah.
And I've heard nga na once you get married and hindi kayo friends, that's the first, you will build your friendship then eventually.
Interesting.
So,
Yeah. Again, those on YouTube and Spotify, pag-comment kayo, just let us know. Okay ba magka-best friend na babae?
if you're married,
Or lalaki?
absolutely, I
Okay,
don't
opposite
think it's a good idea. It's a bad idea.
If you're single,
If you're all single,
again, Rani and I were good friends before I even, parang years before.
Were you were in the youth service, diba?
Well, we were in the
Di ba?
same high school.
Same high school. Okay.
So, ibang usapan yan kasi she's the one who invited me to
To
church.
church. Okay.
So, but yeah, we were friends. As in, we were part of like a pseudo student council. We were leaders in the school.
Pseudo, hindi totoo.
Hindi totoo eh, kasi walang election eh. Parang we were like, they got the leaders of every batch. Pareho kami doon. Then, out of the like, 20 of us, we became like the leaders of the entire high school. Okay, so we've been talking about, di ba, yan, ghosting, submarining,
Testing.
and testing the waters. And it seems that it's quite evident na there are some people, there are some men particularly, na medyo, like, they're quite hesitant to committing.
Like, ano.
like who. There are some men na we have heard na medyo takot, or hindi man takot, but hesitating when it comes to commitment. And why do you think is this so? Based on, like,
Why are they afraid of committing?
yeah, what do you think is causing this? Is there, ano ba, parang, ano kayang pinagdaanan nila, or?
Yeah, there could be a lot of factors why they're like that. I guess past relationships, past wounds, maybe there were rejections in the past. So because of that, they put walls already, safeguard, safety, pag medyo malapit na ako sa ganitong tao, then they put up this wall, ghosting. So ang daming factors, no? Upbringing. I remember we talked about in one of the couples getaways, yung shaping influences. I guess there's a lot of factors shaping that person, why that person is afraid to commit. Maybe in the family, it's a broken home.
That's good.
So parang, I don't want to be invested too much because I don't want to get hurt. So ang daming factors. Iba naman, they're not just discipled. They don't know how to relate to the opposite sex. they don't know the value of covenantal relationship. Yan, nasa disposable type of relationship. Yung as long as I'm happy, I get what I want, ganun lang yung ano niya. No?
Okay
So, pero pag na-disciple mo naman, naturuan mo naman ng tama, no, ganun pala dapat. So, ang dami niyang factors why that person behaves like that. Again, behavior is the outside manifestation of what's going on inside the heart of the person. So it's good to, again, when we disciple men, rather than just correcting the behavior, there's a ministry moment.
That's a good point.
To check the heart first, why that person is like that.
That's good. Oo nga. Kanina, di ba, we had our meeting. Kanina, we were talking about it yung illustration na yung athlete, medyo, let's say, kailangan ng, the footwork is not all there. So, is the person injured or does the person just need strengthening sa legs? So, but like what you're saying, baka the person, before you strengthen their legs, check muna natin, baka may ACL. And if you add more weight, then it just breaks apart. So, but baka nga yun, like they need to be going through their rehabilitation or healing first. And then, pasok na yung weightlifting so that they get to interact na with strength.
So if I'm that one of those guys, no, whether I came from a broken home, so now I'm afraid to commit, or I was rejected. I think that's one of the top, fear of rejection. So fear of rejection, or the other would be, insecurity. Diba? So, what would you advise me if I were that guy? Diba? Arby, I am, I can't commit, or I like this girl, but parang kinakabahan ako eh. I'm afraid if I say something, either I might get rejected, or because of my insecurity, I'll fall apart. Or I don't want to invest, like what Pastor Mark said, I want to invest in a relationship, and then later on, like my parents, they split up, diba? And then, ganun din mangyari sa amin. So, what would you advise me if I were that kind of person? But for the benefit maybe of people watching.
As someone who has experienced rejection before
really?
meeting faith, it's really real. And it could be and it could really be scary to just try again properly the second time. And iba na yung third time. It's really a huge step of faith that could scare a lot of people. And that I just want to start off by saying valid, and I don't want to say valid, pero totoo yun. People really experience that fear to a level that's debilitating. Pero also at the same time, there is a real need that they're seeking for, and they want to skip the risk part and experience the benefit part. The way I see it, it could be a legitimate need being met illegitimately.
Oh, that's a good one.
Kasi yung, for example, ghosting or submarining, it is a need to be recognized, affirmed. There is a feeling that's get fed that the person likes. That's why they still engage in these things. Whether that's they like the feeling that they're being checked up on, or they like the feeling that their efforts are being. It's a valid need, but there is a fear in between of missing out on meeting that need. Kasi pag na-reject ka, etong need na to will no longer be met. So you try to jump that part and try to meet that need illegitimately. So I guess siguro number one is recognizing that there is a need for me to be recognized. I have this need to be affirmed or loved or cared for. Probably I missed it because of my upbringing, because of how I was parented. Kaya hindi ko alam yung feeling na ganito. And now, it's part of it is shifting the idea na, okay, I have a legitimate need. I am just meeting it illegitimately. Then what is the legitimate way to meet this legitimate need? And it's part of it is recognizing that I should be getting this from God, not from another person. This need to be validated, affirmed, and respected, and accepted for who I am with all of my flaws. I should be getting that from God.
How can I do that? I'm now in that situation. How can I do that?
For me, one of the things that really helped me is the company of men who have modeled their lives and how they did it. and gave me a sense of direction. Okay, this is how you stay firm with God and get that need from God first. Because if you skip the process and go straight to trying to get that need from someone else, you're spiraling down towards your own destruction at mandadamay ka pa ng ibang tao. So it's really the company of men. I don't know if this is something I would recommend to everyone, but I was in that point na feeling ko kailangan ko siya and I sought God. I joined the couple small group when I was single.
Really?
Yeah, when I was single, I asked one of our ministers now, Pastor Chito from Davao, can I join your couple small group? Because I want to see what marriage looks like behind the glitz and glamour of prenup photos and videos. I want to hear stories of real life, what happens after the pictures and the photos of everyday married life.
Saya naman.
Diba? I heard great stories, I heard difficult stories, and when I hear in the couple small group, pag naririnig ko yung mga kwento na nag-aaway sila, I try to find myself into that situation where I say, can I really do the same thing? Am I in that place na kaya ko nang gawin yung ginawa niya and forgive and restore? And feeling ko hindi ko pa kaya yun. So that's a signal for me na okay, you're not supposed to jump into one. Kasi hindi mo pa kayang mag-forgive. If hindi mo to kayang i-forgive, what makes you think you can forgive something else? Basically, it just really gave me more realistic pictures of what I'm getting into, and company of men who really speak into my life and told me, Arby, this and that, it's this.
Siguro, Pastor, looking at it, to put it in a nutshell, yung being able to acknowledge, number one, that there is that fear of failure, fear of rejection. If we keep denying that, diba, talagang we will try to dodge it. But so talking about accountability also, as RB mentioned, like it's good to talk to somebody about it na, hey, I want to talk to this girl, I want to pursue her, pero I'm afraid na if ni-reject niya ako, even the friendship will be awkward. But
parang baka masira pa yung friendship.
Baka masira yung friendship. So
you're
now,
risking it.
if I don't talk to somebody about it, let's say, Pastor Mark, tulungan mo, ano bang gagawin ko? Now, let's say I just wing it and maybe ayoko na lang. Then, how would I know? 50-50 yan. It could be a yes or a no.
Right.
But if I don't even try and if I don't take the risk, it's 100% no.
You missed the 100%.
Shots you don't make.
Yeah. So that's why at least if I have somebody like to talk to, like a mentor, like me, Pastor Mark, what do I do?
Mentor or tormentor?
Pwedeng tormentor din. Nga ba siya? Pumunta ka doon. So, but, talking to somebody. And if we need, let's say, ministry, Pastor Mark also maybe, or somebody, like a community of men nga, saw na, it's good to be healed in that area. Like James chapter 5, verse 16 tells us, confess your sins to one another and pray for one another, diba? So that you may be what? Healed. So it's for healing na parang when we confess, not just sins, but even these areas. Kasi, di ba, fear of rejection is rooted somewhere also. It's a sin area. So, syempre, I don't want to delve into that. But, di ba, even that, di ba, then, yeah, maybe we need ministry also. But it's in the group setting, community setting also. And now, if, for example, I did get rejected, but at least there will be people who can encourage me and even say na parang, hey, ano yan, buti na parang you got rejected now. Kaysa you forced it, you got married, then you ended up parang, it's not the right person pala. Di ba? Pinilit nyo kasi. Right. So, ako, weird, but not advised, but when Rania and I got engaged to be married, we had that word from the Lord na parang well, hindi naman word from the Lord, but really we started having that revelation na, teka, what if we're not meant to be? And we're entering into this covenantal relationship. So sabi namin, sige Lord, our prayer said, Lord, if we're not meant to be, do whatever it takes na don't allow us to get married. But as far as we are concerned, we're 100% committed. But Lord, basta do whatever it takes so that the marriage will not take place. Okay. So ganun, basta we also trusted the Lord. So now, if habang before the marriage and it did not happen, Kaya nga ako, take the risk. Kasi if it doesn't happen, then maybe the Lord has something to say about it also.
That's good.
So if you trust the Lord, then maybe the Lord is saying, no, I have someone set apart for you.
Yeah. I know we're almost done with our time, no? Pero this one last question always comes up with like singles meeting, no? How do you know
Yun.
if she is the one?
Gusto ko yan.
Diba? May ganun yan.
Yeah.
I'm sure this will show up again in the women's version of this podcast. But how do you know? Okay, men might be watching today and saying, Pastor Mark, paano ko malalaman kung siya ba? Diba? Select, then collect. Collect. Ano ba? Ano ba style dito?
Yeah, ako I remember when I think I was 3-4 months old in the church. Pastor Ariel Marquez asked me, Mark, do you see anyone in Makati, Victory Makati? Sabi ko, wala eh. Wala pa. And then I asked him, how do you know? How would you know if that's the one? So, ang ganda ng sagot niya sa, it helped me.
Okay.
Because of that answer, nakapag-asawa ka agad ako.
Yung?
So, malalaman nyo yan sa next year na sa next podcast.
Binitin.
So, kasi I was reading, Paul, na ako, yung parang sobra akong on fire. Sabi ko, Lord, kahit sino ibigay mo sa akin, na papakasalan ko kahit na hindi maganda, yung mga gano'n, no? Sabi ni Ariel sa akin, bro, kung mag-alala, bibigyan ka naman ni Lord ng gusto mo rin. So medyo na ako, no? Na parang nabunutan ng tinik na hindi naman pala kahit sino lang, no? Pero sabi niya, so tinanong ko siya, how would you know? And I guess kasi the reason why it's important because sometimes people over-spiritualize everything.
Okay.
Yung may mga fleas. Lord, kung talagang siya yun, kailangan mapaginipan ko siya. Makikita kami, susuot niya, red na dress, may dala siyang libro. Di ba? May mga ganun may mga fleas.
Yeah.
Pero sabi ni Ariel sa akin, simple lang yan, bro. May gusto ka sa kanya, may gusto siya sa'yo, yun na yun. I guess, hindi naman siya married sa iba, wala naman siyang ka-relationship, di ba? Single pareho. You have work. So, sabi, baka yun na yun.
And you both love the Lord.
Kaya, so dahil doon, ganun pala, no? So, kay Wina, sabi ko, gusto mo ba ako? Gusto kita. O, tayong dalawa na. Ganun ka diretso.
20 years naman. Oh.
But I think it helped me knowing na, sige, kasi syempre, pag nag-asawa, kailangan pareho kayo, may gustuhan kayo, di ba? May attraction. Hindi yung parang napilitan ka lang doon sa relationship.
Yeah.
So, kaya kay Wina nun, nakagad ako nun. Yung put clarity on my intention so that I will not defraud her. So when I ask her to go out, it's very clear kung ano yung intention.
So there's clarity.
And not only that, I ask people to cover in prayer for accountability na,
That's good.
I'm pursuing this person.
Right.
So, para lang alam. So, I think, isa ka dun sa mga tinanong ko, di ba? Pastor Pao, si Wina, I wanna pursue this relationship. What do you think of Wina? Si Pastor Pao, kasi mas nauna silang dalawa magkakilala ni Wina. So, talagang binild up na si Wina, no? So, hindi ko alam, pero pray na lang pala nila kami. But it's good to have someone to talk to for accountability para you don't go overboard. Para ikaw rin, no? Hindi yung kung saan sa mapunta yung relationship.
Right. Galing.
So,
Ikaw, Aaron.
Yan. Maraming kinausap yan.
Next month na ba? June.
kasama ng buhok.
Ako, Pastor Pao.
Yes.
One of the things that really helped me answer that question was when I heard one of my campus missionaries back then told me when I was still a student. Sabi niya, Arby, the only time you'll know if that person is the one, if she also says, I do.
Ooh.
So, ibig sabihin, the whole time, that's what makes it faith. That's why faith is element and crucial into the journey.
Kaya pala yun.
Because I've heard, kaya pala faith yung pangalan. Kasi I've heard of stories.
You are full of faith.
Full of faith. Kasi I've heard of stories of people who became boyfriend and girlfriend and they said they both heard from God. Pero yet, hindi sila nagkatuluyan. And later on, I get to talk to and hear their stories and they would just simply tell me, that was part of my character building journey? And I guess siguro one of the reasons why we ask that question simply because we're simply too afraid of getting hurt. Sobrang takot tayong magkamali at masaktan. And that is valid. Siyempre, nobody likes to get hurt. And nobody likes getting their hearts broken. But what if your heart being shattered is part of God's process of making it into the way He designed it to be?
Wow.
Kasi, for example, yung narinig ko na rin kasi yung gusto niya ako. And that's true. Pero, siguro dahil iniba ni Lord yung kwento niya pagdating sa akin. Kasi Faith would even say that she said yes to me. Kasi sabi ni Lord, walang attraction, wala siyang na-feel towards me. Kasi nag-pray siya, takot siya, kasi nga younger ako, and it's not, parang, I am way, parang sa lahat ng preference niya.
Checklist niya.
Sa checklist
In other
niya.
words, wala ka sa radar niya.
Wala talaga ako sa radar niya, wala ako sa checklist niya. And here I am coming in, and she really took a lot of time praying and fasting. God said, say yes. And it is after 6 months when she started to feel things. Na-feel niya na gusto niya na pala ako nung umalis na ako ng airport, umuwi na ako ng Manila. Tapos, bakit ako umiiyak? Doon niya na-gets, gusto ko na pala siya. So, I heard of stories of people, sabi ni Lord, pero hindi pala. I guess siguro, the only time you will know if that person is the one, if that person says, I do too. Para the whole process, faith. Lord, trust you from faith from the beginning, faith until we get married, faith until you come back, or die first, then come back, or something like that.
Pastor ba narinig ko dati sa wedding ceremony, in the words of Pastor Patrick Mercado. Yan na. Sabi niya, simple lang yan. How would you know kung siya na the one? Decide. If you have decided na siya na yun, then you commit to it.
Right.
And kasi sometimes, I think, going back to the fears that we were talking about, yung iba kasi, merong myth of compatibility, na kailangan everything is compatible. O kailangan kung video gamer ako, video gamer din siya. Yung mga, parang minsan, what? Saan ang galing? Kailangan extrovert ako, extrovert din siya. Gusto mo ba talaga yun? Dahil non-stop na yung banggaan niyo, di ba? So, but God really has shaped our spouses in a certain way that will complement us. And they're not, di ba? Hindi naman uniform eh. And walang perfect na tao. Kasi kung perfect, di ba? Kung meron, di ba? Parang tayo, hindi man tayo perfect. So, why will we expect a perfect spouse also? So, yun lang eh. But through it all, we decide, we commit. And we say, Lord, I trust you that she's the person that you have placed for me for the rest of my life.
Sige, as we end, any final thoughts from you guys? Any advice for those listening?
Yeah, for me, as men, I hope we enter relationships and even marriage with the right perspective.
Yeah.
Na this is not gonna be, parang we're not entering this as a consumer, na what can I get from this? In fact, when we enter a relationship, we're gonna be serving, we're gonna be loving, and we're gonna be dedicating our life also to the person that God has placed before us in a covenantal relationship. I was reminded of the verse in John, chapter 15, verse 13. Sinabi na greater love has no one than this, that someone lay down his life for his friends. So, syempre, if we're saying kanina, di ba, yung BFF mo, di ba, you're marrying her, then, di ba, you're laying down your life for her, and she's not gonna be perfect, but you're gonna die to the self anyway, and you're gonna continue to lay down your life for her.
Nice. Galing. Pastor Mark?
I guess so. I like what you said, but I want to focus also para naman at least another nugget of wisdom. Na we talked about hurt. People don't want to enter into a relationship because they're afraid to get hurt. Now, if that's our posture, then we will have a hard time relating with people. Because if we are relating with someone, kumbaga ano naman eh, wala kasing perfect. We are imperfect, people, and we will always experience hurt. So, in a relationship, ganun talaga.
Yeah.
So, whether husband and wives for 1 year, 10 years, 50 years, I'm sure they still experience hurt. But I guess once you understand that God has made you whole already, made you complete, kumbaga, okay lang because si God naman yung ano sa atin, no? Yung mag-heal sa atin. And I guess coming from that abundance of love that we receive from God, that generous love that God extended to us, then we're able to extend that generosity also of loving and forgiving towards that person. So mas yung relationship ninyo mas parang mas magiging okay, no? Kasi nga hindi siya yung wala na kayong away. Diba? Mula ka nagkasal kayo hanggang for the rest of your lives, walang away. Hindi siya ganun eh. There will be frustration. But alam mo lang na it is God who is the center of that relationship. So I guess for me, it's not being afraid to get hurt. Kasi God is there to, bring restoration. He is the one who's going to heal us. And to expect that person to bring healing, it will be, kumbaga, kawawa sa kanya kasi ang bigat ng burden na dinadala niya, na siya mag-heal sa akin. Hinil ka na ni Lord. And out of that, that's you extend that love that towards that other person. So not being afraid to be hurt. And Jesus, hindi niya tayo ginost. Because He came down here on earth, lay down His life to people who are in rebellion, who are in sin. Diba? Kaya benevolent yung love niya. Kasi even though we don't have the capacity to return that love back, and yet He showered us with His love. Kaya lagi natin sinasabi, we are fully known. Diba? Yung deepest secrets natin na ayaw mong ipagkalat, alam na alam ni Lord yun. And yet, we are also fully loved. Fully known and fully loved. And when we understand and we receive that kind of love, then we are able to extend that also.
Nice. Great.
Ako, I realized early on that many of the necessary essentials in the early stages of my of marriage, I had a lot of opportunities growing them when I was still single. A lot of the essentials of marriage, may opportunities na pala to start building those things even if you're single. For example, leadership. Leadership is a crucial element in marriage. And as a single person, you have plenty of opportunities to build your leadership. Character, very essential in marriage. How you handle conflict, how you handle difficult conversations. Those are a lot of skills that are very necessary. Na may opportunities ka na ngayon pa lang as a single person to develop these things. And I realized na ito yung maximizing your singlehood, na parang don't be in a rush talaga to get into a relationship because marriage will not solve anything. It will only magnify what's already there.
Or reveal. No?
Or reveal what's already there. And if you think marriage will solve your loneliness, get a dog. But really, maximize singlehood, learn how to lead, learn develop your skills, character, love like Jesus. Kasi lahat yon will be put to the test the moment you get married.
Amen. Well, thank you. Thanks, guys, for your insights. Thank you, Pastor Jojit, Pastor Mark, Arby.
Kung akala ninyo masarap mag-asawa, hindi nyo alam. Sobrang sarap.
And that's the code for the day. But thanks, guys, for joining us for Beyond the Pulpit. And next episode, we will have women in the panel. We will talk about this same topic, love, dating, and relationships. And we will have women with us. And so, again, if you have any suggestions or recommendations about topics, please email us beyondthepulpit@victorybgc.church. We'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for spending time with us today. I hope you enjoyed our extended time together. We would love to hear from you. And if you have any questions or topics you want us to discuss, you can reach us at beyondthepulpit@victorybgc.church. See you in our next episode.